welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.
This is Finish Line. Undisputed, unrealistic, unscripted, and unrehearsed. This is Finish Line, a weekly podcast talking about the positive and negative of motorsports, asking the questions to drivers, promoters, and personalities, getting the information and responses of the sport others dare not to ask or even discuss. This is Finish Line. This radio podcast is from the heart, an in-depth analysis of everything in NASCAR, NHRA, IHRA, IndyCar, grassroots motorsports, asphalt, dirt, drag racing, karting, tractor pulling, boat racing, demolition derbies, and much more. From touring events to national, regional, weekly, and more. This is the podcast where the bull stops here. Whether it's asphalt, dirt, or drag racing, or anything else in life, there is always a finish line. Now, he's a respected veteran broadcaster with over 20-plus years experience calling all forms of sports for public address, TV, and radio, from NASCAR to the grassroots. Please welcome your host, Wesley Outland. This is Finish Line.
Doing good. We'll get my camera in here eventually. It's somewhere I lost. Yeah, we lost my camera. There we go. Everything's organized. There we go. Somewhat organized. It's not really organized around here. Nothing's organized. But yeah, good to think that. Yeah, yes. It's like sprint car racing. It's controlled chaos. There is no real control. It's just all that. That is Carl Edwards. You can't see it, but right there on the windshield is actually his autograph. Well, we built a new computer for LSRTV. Full disclosure, it started out as just a graphics card and turned into a whole new computer. So we did that and got some other things ready. And I will say, for all the viewers and listeners out there that tuned in last night for the Crown Jewel, we are back next week for at least one more week. And 2, we got the audio fixed for post-race. So we will have audio for post-race. Yes, I believe that's correct. Well, good news for you, they are starting 15 minutes later now for this week, so that'll help you out there.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private
wait,
non-commercial
when you're live, you're live. There we go. Now we'll get the person in there, not the music. There we go.
Thanks for having me. It's definitely definitely should be an experience with the herd that we have. Yeah, Willie's doing the final walkthrough, and then we'll be hitting the road. So he just told me to start the interview in the truck, and that way they just get in and we can hit the road. I'm super excited. I don't really have any butterflies. I mean, I'm sure maybe once I get strapped into the car, I'll have a little butterflies. But no, my only concern is that I have butterflies about is drafting with other people. Just because in short tracks you don't really have to do that. So it'll definitely be a new experience. Yeah, so we did a test at Dominion with the ARCA cars. Brayton was actually there, and he tested at Dominion in the ARCA car, and I got in it for a few laps. So I do have some experience with the ARCA cars. I've also hopped in a few late models and Virginia racers, just to get another car in the field for them. So. I have. I actually used to live down in Florida, just 20 minutes north of Daytona. I've watched the races. I did I think it was Rusty Wallace driving experience there. My mom got it for me for Christmas one year. Yeah, I didn't really get as excited with the Rusty Wallace one because they put a limiter on it and all of that stuff. For a certain RPM, and you can't get out of this line. If you get a little too close to the yellow line, the person that's on your radio starts yelling at you to go up the racetrack a little bit. And so I'm definitely more excited to hop in the ARCA car and actually be able to go the proper speed you're supposed to go at Daytona. So.
Oh, I could have seen that one coming. But my only question is, and again, I asked the weird questions here: is Snap on a sponsor? Because I can see the little bitty tag on that jacket that says Snap on in the inside.
Yes. Yeah, I do have Snap On as a sponsor. Timmy Brand, our Snap On driver for Bugsies, he sponsors my modified. So. I'm going to be running the modified. I'm trying to get some fundings together to hopefully get an ARCA race this year, at least one. I'm going to probably hop in a few limiteds. We'll see if a late model comes available. So. Well, the modified kind of prepares me for having good throttle control because we got big horsepowers on an 8-inch tire. So you gotta have the throttle control or else you're gonna spin it. So that helps me with the late models and stuff. In the ARCA car, my biggest thing during the test was the brake pedal doesn't move nearly as much as in a late model or a modified. So it was getting used to that and actually not just dragging the brake a little bit, like you got to be off the brake in the center of the corner. So, and I was overdriving it.
So Kayla, who are some race car drivers that you look up to? Who are people that you say, man, I want to be that driver, I want to be her or be him? Who are some of the drivers you look up to, whether it's on the local level in Virginia or whether it's on on the national stage?
So we have a local driver named Davey Callahan. He can hop in anything, and it can be a complete turd of a car or the best car in the world that you spent millions of dollars on, and he makes it go to the top of the board. So he's really good at that stuff, and he can hop in really any cars, and he's quick. So definitely him, because I want to be able to be as adverse as that. And then of course, can't leave Willie Mullins out of that.
That's right. I tell you what. Let's talk about the. I want to emphasize on this. You've earned the opportunity to be able to go down to Daytona and test. I mean, I was finding out back in October at the Shambhalooza Memorial Race at Larry King Law's Langley Speedway, which, by the way, their Race of Champions Awards Banquet is this Friday night. But I want to say thank you to Bill Mullis for sending me an invitation to be able to join them. But unfortunately, I have other broadcast obligations, so I can't make it. But I will tell everybody, congratulations to all of the drivers that raced at Langley. I know you were there. I know you run normally at Dominion Raceway, which, by the way, I was looking at some. That's a track I've never been to before. I was supposed to go there one time last year, and I was going to announce a race filling in for Mark Potter, and the race got rained out. And because of the weather, I couldn't make the trip down there. But I've heard that is a beautiful facility. I mean, it's just, to let everybody know on Finish Line, it's a state-of-the-art place.
Oh, yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. That was their whole goal, is when they built it, was they wanted to be like a Daytona level facility for short track level. It is absolutely beautiful. The track has huge grip. There's, as long as you have a pair, you can run anywhere on that track. You just got to have a pair.
Oh my good, Charles, she just said you got to have a pair. You got to have a pair to get around that place. Oh, wow.
It's a fast.
Well, I mean, a pair for females or males. I mean, you got to have a pair for sure. I mean, it's got to be. That's a very unique racetrack, and I think you got to say the same thing about Daytona as well. No doubt about it. We're talking about testing at Daytona, and Kayla, what is the end goal here? I mean, if you do well at testing, is there an opportunity that Willie might put you in a race car to run at Daytona in the ARCA race, or is this just to give you a chance to get the experience of getting seat time for maybe running the ARCA car in the future?
So it's just to get me, right now, it's just to get me licensed, to see if I can find a little bit more funding to get in a race this season. But if not, if I can't find the funding, then it's to hopefully just get experience and be able to, like, next year or whatever, get in an ARCA car.
There you go. Well, for sure. I mean, how long have you been racing, Kayla? Ain't it been like 3 or 4 years, something like that?
I have actually been racing, I think, close to 10 years now.
Okay.
I started out in dirt go-karts, and this is my 4th year in the modified, so.
Gotcha. Okay, so running on the go-kart scene, what tracks did you run at? Did you run WKA events, AKRA, national shows, or did you just kind of stay in the Virginia area, run like Amelia Raceway, stuff like that?
Well, so I ran Capital City. That was my home track. And then
Okay.
I ran the VDK series, which that took us to, I want to say it was, I can't remember the name of the track. But that took us to Capital, it took us to Amelia, it took us to Albemarle, and then one other track, I can't remember the name of it.
Is it Margarettsville?
But that was also... No, because that one wasn't open yet. That was when it was still down on that.
That unveils how old I am.
Well, actually, I ran Amelia after the Capital City owners reopened it for 2 years. And then it was too much for their crew to make that travel. So they had to close that back down.
Margarettsville, I thought Margarettsville was a racetrack that, honestly, you could probably run cars on for the track being what it was for go-karts. It's a track that was big enough you could probably run race cars on it.
Yeah. I also ran up in PA, Hunterstown, Coveview, and when Trailways was open, I ran a race or two there. That was a fun track.
Well, listen, what's your plans for the upcoming season, obviously, after the testing at Daytona and, getting ready for this? And what are we seeing you doing in 2023, young lady?
I'll be driving my modified. I'll probably be hopping in a few limited late model races. Might see if there's a seat available in a late model once or twice. And hopefully get a few more marketing partners on board and get an ARCA car.
There you go. Charles, you got anything else for the young lady Kayla Surles out of Spotsylvania, Virginia here on Finish Line? We got a few more minutes to wrap it up with her, and we got our next guest climbing in the box. I believe it's going to be, if I remember correctly, I think it's going to be after her, Brayton Laster. Brayton Laster from Indiana going to be joining us. So, yeah.
And I do see him connecting in. He's not quite in, but he is. All I got is good luck, and hopefully you don't have to use any of them snap-on tools this weekend.
Thank you. Hopefully
Willie
we don't.
Doesn't. Yeah, Willie doesn't. I will say this, though, in closing, though, Kayla, am I right, though? There's going to be I think I read a press release from my friend Charles Crawl at ARCA that last night. Now, we've got 4 of you drivers of 7. Is it 7 drivers for Mullins Racing that are going to be going out there and testing the car at Daytona back and forth?
Yes, Dinah's telling me yes.
Okay, Donna, yeah, but she's actually one of the people that helped put this together. Like I said, back in October when I was on Flow Racing with Brian White for coverage of the Chambaluza Memorial, and I was turn announcing in Turn 3 at Langley, she messaged me, and she's like, oh, man, look at that silver 25, Wesley. That's Kayla Surles. And she's like, yeah, she's going to be ARCA tested at Daytona. And, like, as soon as she sent me that message, I gave you a shout-out on Finish Line, and, well, not on Finish Line, on Flow Racing to promote that you would be doing this. So, definitely.
I wish you kind of didn't. Cause as soon as y'all put attention on me was when I got into an incident.
Well, that's that dreaded damn announcer jinx that people don't think's real, but it's true. Okay.
It is very true.
Oh, well. It's true. It's very true. Well, listen, young lady, we thank you for joining us on Finish Line. Brayton Laster's coming up. I think he's one of your teammates this weekend for testing with the Mullins Racing team. And before I do let you go, Kayla, congratulations on all your success and what you do for this year, last year, and for testing at ARCA and Daytona. Be safe. But I want you to thank your sponsors.
Thank you guys for having me on. I got to thank Fair Farm Repair. Piper Barbecue.
That sounds like lunch.
Yeah, they're feeding us this weekend. Fredericksburg area, Fredericksburg Eagles Area 4123. Virginia 811. Who else? That's it this weekend. Me, Dinah, the Mullins.
Dinah, Willie Mullins, Mullins Racing. And Charles is in the background saying, snap on, snap on.
Oh, yeah. I guess we'll be nice and do Timmy Brand snap on.
That's exactly right. Well, hey, what's the weather supposed to be like down there at Daytona? It's supposed to be nice, right? A lot damn warmer than up here for sure, man. I'm sick of this cold, man. I might jump in the back of the cargo truck. Just pick me up when you make your way down 95, okay?
Yeah, it's supposed to be like high 50s, low 60s. So.
Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, that's not fun then. Because it's 57 here in North Carolina at our studio. And Charles, you said what? It's 81 degrees in Texas at the studio? Wow, at the Rocket Media Racing studio, it's 81 degrees, so for sure. Well, Kayla, listen, be safe. Thank you so much for being on Finish Line. Dina and Willie, let her out. She looks like she's cooped up right now. Let her get out and get some air for sure. So
We're
you
about to
did a
be hitting the
phenomenal job,
road.
Kayla. Okay, well,
Thank you.
somehow, some way, I don't know how in the world I'm going to talk to Willie whenever he's driving that big ass toter trailer down the interstate. We'll figure it out. So, but thank you so much for joining us, Kayla.
Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Kayla Surles out of Spotsylvania, Virginia. And Charles, I bring you back in here before we bring in our next guest, man. I asked her the question, the excitement, you got to be hyped up. She seems out. She's got the 3 C's. She's calm, she's cool, she's collective, and she's looking forward to getting on Daytona, bud.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I would love to go to Daytona as well, but then again, it's 50 degrees. I'll stick with my 80 and warm here in Texas.
I was about to say, where are you? Because Kayla froze. That's her mugshot right there.
Well, guest two's so ready to go. I didn't want to, put my ugly mug on there because they're just rip roaring and ready. So I've got theirs all queued up. So.
Well, let's do it then. Let's bring in our next guest of the program. We're right ahead of schedule. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Brayton Laster from Indiana. Of course, he's ran a couple of NASCAR Camping World Truck Series events. I think he ran on the dirt at Knoxville, if I can remember correctly. And he'll be running one of the Mullins racing cars testing at Daytona for ARCA Testing 2023 preview. And Brayton, welcome to Finish Line. First-time guest. We welcome you to the program.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you can hear me. I'm assuming so. Oh, perfect. I'm not gonna lie. I felt bad at first because we're driving down to Daytona. I'm in the car, and we are like slam packed in here. So it's a little bit of a messy background, but we're making work. And it's actually we're in Florida. We're about an hour and 45 minutes from the track, and it's nice, 74 degrees, warm and sunny here. I'm loving it.
Okay. All right. Well, they were saying it's going to be in the 50s at Daytona this weekend. So I do see that you got a Burger King sign behind you, so maybe you can stop by Burger King. And you look like you're stacked like sardines, man.
Yeah, it's pretty tight in here. We just hopped off the interstate. That way I knew the internet would be stable because it's like the boonies in and out here. You'll be driving, have great data, and then all of a sudden it's like, oof, nothing. So.
That's what everybody. Last weekend, Ron Barfield, Charles was laughing his tail off. Ron Barfield was driving down the interstate, pulling over on the side of the road, pulling in here. Oh, I lost signal. Wesley, drive up about another 50 yards to find the right signal. So wherever you're at right now, you're in perfect placement for signal. So don't go nowhere, man. Just stay right there. That Burger King tower with that metal is your friend. Okay, so that's your Brayton Laster again joining us here on Finish Line. The young man, of course, out of Greenwood, Indiana, studies in college at Liberty University, and, of course, races in the NASCAR Camping World now. No longer Camping World. It's now the Craftsman Truck Series and the ARCA Menard Series as well. And he had some NASCAR starts, got some ARCA starts. How's the season been for you, by the way?
It's been cold. We're really excited, though, to kind of kick things off right where we kicked things off last year, coming down to Daytona testing with the Mullins. Last year, we never thought I'd even get an opportunity to be on track at Daytona, testing, let alone racing, and just so much has happened over the past 365 days. It's unreal, and we ran strong. I want to say strong. I mean, it was a great debut performance. We got 13th at Daytona last year, and Talladega we were running inside the top 15, and then we had a little oopsie, or we got an oopsie. We didn't have an oopsie. And we cut some grass through the tri-oval there at 180 miles an hour, so that was pretty fun. And, we ran a lot of dirt late model stuff last year. I made my NASCAR now Craftsman Truck Series start at Knoxville, so that was awesome. We ran some figure eight stuff here in Indianapolis, or well, not here, but up in Indianapolis, which is a big thing where we actually drive through an intersection with they're like $50,000, $60,000 full-blown late models, and we're playing Frogger basically with 20 cars on track, so that's always an interesting subject. So last season went pretty good, and so far we're kicking it off pretty nice and warm down here, and right where we started last year. So hopefully this season goes even better. Now that we know we have a lot more experience.
Sure.
I don't have I won't say I have a lot of super speedway experience, but I have a lot more super speedway experience than I had last year at this time.
Oh, yeah, hands down, buddy. And I'll tell you what, Charles, I'll bring you in Texas, my producer / co-host, Charles Wooten in Texas, bud, and listening for him racing on the dirt, buddy. He ran the Knoxville truck race back in last summer whenever they were at Knoxville Race with the Camping World Truck Series.
Yeah, the only NASCAR race I watched last year was the dirt race. So, hey, you know what they say: dirt's for racing and asphalt's for getting there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
that
right,
was
for
a
sure.
blast.
Hey, Brayton, let's talk a little bit about your career, buddy, where you got started and, how excited it is to be able to run NASCAR whenever you can, running in the NASCAR. I keep saying Camping World, Wesley. Get it right. Craftsman Truck Series in 2023, and then, of course, running in the ARCA Menard Series, and it all kicks off here with testing at Daytona. By the way, have you had lunch yet? I'm really thinking let's stop by Burger King and get some virtual dinner. We got to get some lunch here.
Yeah, I might get something here in a little bit. But, yeah, I started out not too young, but I was still pretty young. I was about 7, 8 years old when I first hopped in a go-kart at the Indianapolis Speedrome, which is a flat 5th mile. I think it has like negative banking. It's that flat here in Indianapolis, or up in Indianapolis. And my dad, it's a family thing for me. My dad's owned and worked on a race car since about the mid 80s. And he started racing himself in the late 90s, early 2000s, mainly around Indianapolis in the Midwest on the figure 8 things. He ran a lot of figure 8 cars. Because that's a real big thing for whatever reason up here in the Midwest. We're stupid, and we just drive at each other through an intersection because we got nothing better to do, I guess. But I started out in go-karts, ran those for 3, 4 years. When I was 12 years old, I made the move up to stock cars, running street stocks and like a hobby stock class up at the Speedrome. And I ran that for 2 or 3 years. So, and I mean, that wasn't a kiddie class either. It was 12, 13-year-old tiny Brayton Laster going against 40, 50, 60-year-old men who have been racing for 40, 50 years, Like, these guys have been doing it forever. So I got a lot of good heavy stock car wheeling, dealing, short track, rubbings, racing experience during that area. And then when I was about 15 or 16 or so, we made the move to dirt full time, and we live close to CJ Rayburn. We're in about 5 minutes from his house. For those that don't know, CJ Rayburn is like the legend on dirt. He was one of the first guys that really started building
That's
dirt
right.
late model chassis from the ground up, and he was the king of dirt. And he kind of took me under his wing, and I had an internship at his shop for a couple months where I just took out the trash every day. But the amount of knowledge I got from taking out the trash every day was, you can't pay for that kind of knowledge, sitting there working side by side with CJ. And he was kind of my mentor, and we made the move to dirt. We ran Super Dirt Late Models full time starting in 2018. I was 15, 16 years old at Brownstown Speedway, which is one of the more notorious dirt tracks around the Midwest. A quarter mile, pretty decently banked, and no walls, which is always fun. And we got Rookie of the Year in top 10 in points, and that's kind of where we've been ever since 2018. We've been running primarily our Super Dirt Late models across the Midwest, and we've done some asphalt stuff. I've made a CRA Sportsman start at Mount Lawn since. I've ran a lot of the figure 8 stuff on and off. I've raced a school bus. That was fun. Some Hornet stuff. So if it's got 3, 4, at least 3 wheels and a motor, I'll race it. I'm not scared to hop in anything. And this past year, like I talked about a couple minutes ago, it's just been crazy. I mean, I never thought I'd even get to test at Daytona or even see the track in person. Now we're talking about going down here and practicing for the 2nd year in a row and getting ready for the race.
I got to ask you the question, Brayton. Is the butterflies there? Kayla was kind of like, well, I've been here before. I've seen the track. I've been on the track with testing before as far as with the driving experience. But, for you, what's that first experience like for you when you went to Daytona? And obviously you are going back. Are the butterflies still there? Do you still feel just an eerie, not an eerie feeling, but just that you're amongst history. You're amongst so many exciting moments in this world of motorsports whenever you step on that hallowed ground that is the Daytona International Speedway. When you see that bridge that crosses over turn 4 of the highway on International Speedway Boulevard. I know I get the goosebumps when I go to RPM and when I go to Daytona to work those races, and I'm not even in the car. I'm just holding a microphone and working media. Do you still get that being a young man as you are?
100%. There's probably not many tracks as notorious in the world of motorsports, not just the United States and NASCAR, but the world of motorsports. There's not a track, probably top 3 notorious tracks, Daytona International Speedway is somewhere in there with probably Le Mans and, Indies. If I had to guess, that's my top 3 notorious tracks right there, not in that order. But there's just so much history at that track. And driving through the tunnel last year when I went to test was my first time actually being to the track in person. And the size, I'd never been on an asphalt track bigger than a 3/8, 3/10 mile before testing last year. And I'd run some half-mile tracks on dirt. And, I've driven by IMS, and I've been in there once. But which I'm ashamed to say, being a native Hoosier, saying I've only been to IMS, 1 or 2 times. But, that's a fairly big track. But driving, down International Boulevard there, or International Speedway Boulevard, well, the street there around Daytona, and to seeing the grandstands, and like, holy cow, this place is huge. And then when we got in last year, we drove around the back side of the track, along the airport, and you could just see the whole track in all its greatness. And I'm just like, there is no way I'm gonna be out there on that track in a couple of days. I'm like, this place is huge. I'm like, this is crazy. And then we drove through the tunnel for the first time, and I think tears were almost shed. I mean, that's just how of a majestical moment it was for my whole family, really. Like I said, my dad raced for years, and he never really thought he could make it big. He never really thought I could make it big, and I never thought I could make it big. So just being able to drive through that gate or drive through that tunnel, and they have all the paintings on the wall and all the murals, and the
murals,
history.
Yeah.
Yes, the people that have walked through that tunnel and driven through that tunnel and driven on that track. It's just such a historical moment for so many. And this year, I think I still have the butterflies. I'm not really nervous about the speed. I love going fast. I love a good adrenaline rush, but the fact that I'm still going to be on a track that so many have raced, so many iconic names, so many iconic people, and just not NASCAR alone, but in road racing, IMSA, F1 drivers have come to race Daytona here. We got the 24 Hours of Daytona, we got the Roar, we got the MotoGP, with Miatas. There's so many different cars and people that have raced here. It's truly an iconic place.
I'll tell you what, it'll be a fun time this weekend. By the way, 60, count them, 60 drivers are entered for testing at Daytona with the ARCA Menard Series for this testing in preparation for the Lucas Oil 200 coming up in February, part of Speed Week at Daytona. Me and Dave Moody were talking about it at Dillon Motor Speedway the other day, and of course we had him on finish line. And I got to ask you this question, Brayton. Having the the future of the sport, and we've hinted on this, we've talked about this, it's young drivers like yourself. I mean, the end game for you, Brayton, has got to be a Sunday afternoon NASCAR Cup Series competitor. But what has the road been like? What is the drive like? What does it mean to go from the local short track level to then moving into the NASCAR level? Because NASCAR owns ARCA, let's be honest. But then you got an itinerary, you've got a schedule, you've got a chain of command of you got to be at this meeting, you got to be here, you got to be for that spotters meeting, you got to be for this crew meeting, you got crew meetings with teams, you've got the series officials meetings, then you've got to follow protocol as far as opening ceremonies. How do you adapt and learn? And do you got somebody helping you, or is it something that you got to keep a Palm Pilot with, or keep a schedule of to know what you got to do to be up with the rest of these guys that do this full time?
Yeah, it's definitely different than rolling into a local dirt track right before hot laps and hoping for the best. I mean, we're getting there at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, going to meetings all day, and the Mullins, definitely great people, and Dinah's kind of got me on the leash a little bit, making sure I'm where I need to be at certain times. And that's one thing what I love about them, and especially working with Dinah and Willie, is Dinah's kind of on top of everything. She knows where people need to be, when they need to be there, and she makes sure that they get there. But it's definitely hugely different from the short track scene where you just have a driver's meeting at an hour before practice, and that's it. I mean, we have, gotta get headshots, gotta go to driver's meeting, gotta get the driver spotter meeting, got the rookie meetings, gotta sit down and talk with this guy, gotta sit down and talk with that guy, gotta talk with the team, talk how they're gonna work things out. And the end game for us, I don't ever foresee me racing on Sunday. Maybe a one-off years down the road. I don't have the uncle or dad or rich family member or uncle, cousin Vinny that's a part of a Fortune 500 company. I don't have the last name. I don't even want to say I have the natural talent. I mean, I got to work for what I got. I spend hours on simulators, iRacing, sitting here trying to get speed and figure stuff out. It's a lot of it comes natural, but there's a lot more talented drivers out there that definitely deserve a shot. But if I can get a full season in the ARCA Menard Series and the NASCAR Craft and Truck Series, or even the Xfinity Series, or even a part-time series or season in the Xfinity Series, I think that's end game right there. Because I never personally thought I'd get to compete at this level, even practice at this level, and now we're sitting here talking about running Daytona and Talladega and some possible other ventures. It's just I'm content with where I've made it in my career at this point. I never thought I'd get to make it anywhere close to this level. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to stop pushing, because now I've got a little taste of what it's like, and now I want to eat at the big boy table. And now I'm at the kiddie table, about to move up to the big table. Now I'm gonna move up to the adult table at Thanksgiving. So
you've had the appetizer, now you want the main course. You had the appetizer, now you want the main course, hands down. And I will say this, and Charles, I'll bring you in here as well, my friend in Texas, on the producer chair and co-host, because we've talked about this in years past on Finish Line as well. And that is, it's sad that our sport, like Brayton Laster just hinted on, has become so expensive. I know that the dollar's got to be there to make it. Don't get me wrong. You got to have the budget. But it is, I find it disappointing that you literally, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the backing, if you don't have that last name, Charles, you don't get a chance. And you and I both know this, my friend, from what you do in the Deep South and the Lone Star State in Texas and all the racetracks that I've been all over the country. There are so many talented race car drivers like Brayton Laster or Kayla Surles or others, the Bubba Pollards, the Stephen Nassies, the guys that I know that should be in a NASCAR Cup ride. They could hang with these guys on the NASCAR Cup Series or Xfinity or Truck or even ARCA, and they don't get that chance because they don't have the money in the pocketbook.
Yeah, I mean, a prime example, someone explained it once to me that, the NASCAR level is like a poker game. You have the 2 or 3 people at the table that have all the chips, and then you have the people that don't have all the chips, and, they're just sitting there. They don't get the hand they want, so they just keep blinding themselves to death until we lose all the little teams, and, it's monopolized by the big money.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, that's about the nice way of summing it up. And you got guys that have dreams. They got goals. I got dreams. I got goals. Everybody in life has dreams or goals. If you do not have dreams or goals in life and you are complacent and content with where you are and you don't want to move up in anything, then, you stay in your lane. But I'm one of those types that, and Charles, I know you are. Brayton, it sounds like you are, that if you got, if you're going after something, this is the level I want to get to. Okay, now I want to move up to this level. Okay, I got to this level. Now let's move up to this one. Like you said, Brayton, you want to be at the head of the table. You want to be a part of the dinner, not the, you want to be a part of the main course, not the appetizer. Yeah. But I will say this, though, having the opportunity to put Mullins Racing and letting you drive one of these cars, that's got to be fun. That's got to be an honor. And what's the, I was going to ask Kayla this question, but I'll ask you as well. You're in the car, okay? You're in the car. Then Kayla's in the car. Then Landon Pembelton's in the will How fast do you guys change the cars? Do y'all try to keep one setup for everybody and everybody's happy with it? How will Mullins Racing make those changes to get you in and out of those cars quickly? I think you got, 2 cars or 3 cars going down to Daytona?
Yeah, they have 2 cars. They have the Ford Mustang, which is the same car that I drove last year. And we kind of, like I said, we got in an oopsie at Talladega, and they put the Mustang body on it. And then they have the Chevy, which is Willie's primary car. And last year was a great example of they had 7 different drivers last year, and this year I think they also have 7 different drivers. And I mean, they had guys
Gotcha.
in and out like that. And the big thing is size. Last year they had a lot of drivers that are kind of the same build, and they got guys kind of like me that are really tall and really big. You know, we have to shop at the big and tall section in the Walmart. So,
Gotcha.
when I so when it's my turn to kind of hop in the car, I had to raise the steering wheel up a little bit and kind of move it this way, and I'm in about 20-30 minutes. They had everything where I was comfortable. I could just hop in and go. I didn't have to worry about moving around. That is one thing. Like I said, I just love this team. I love working with the Mullins. They're able to adapt quickly no matter really what the circumstances, and they're a small big team, I like to call it, because even though they're small and big, they're a smaller team in the grand scheme of things. They operate and they act like a big team. Like a Hendrick, like a Gibbs, like a Venturini. They're one of the most professional and I'd say effective teams in the garage by far when it comes to getting people on track, getting the right setups on track, getting competitive cars, and it's getting people the experience and the seat time they need.
Well, listen, Brayton, go grab you some lunch, buddy. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on Finish Line, my friend. Be safe. Have fun at Daytona. Hopefully I run into you at a race somewhere this year, bud. And before I do let you go, I want you to thank your sponsors, not only on the Mullins ARCA car you're going to be testing, but also on your regular racing career, too.
Yes, first, a huge shout out to the entire Mullins crew. Like I said, they're awesome to work with, and I'm excited to be back with them again for Daytona, Talladega this upcoming season. But I gotta give a shout out to AutoRepairEventStickers.com, DriveForHumanity.org, Indie Auto Recyclers, Jimmy's Diner, USA Insulation, Edco Welding and Fabrication, and there's just so many tiny mom and pop shops that have helped us along the way. It's truly a grassroots journey. The amount of mom and pop and little guys, because I'm a little guy in the grand scheme of NASCAR things, and it's a little man's journey trying to get to this level, and I think we've been pretty successful, I'd say.
Well, buddy, you hang in there. Have safe travels down. It sounds like you're already down at Daytona, so be safe in the race car, and I hope you have a lot of good insight to come from the ARCA testing, and hopefully the weather will cooperate, too. I've been down there before for testing, and it rains, and it's miserable, and, you get maybe an hour or two, and then it rains again, and then you're drying the track, and, I will say this. Brayton, thanks for your time, buddy. We appreciate you being on Finish Line. If you want to bring me back on Full Box, Charles, I will say this before we bring in our next guest. The same protocol that goes in to a real race procedure, okay? The same protocol that goes into preparing for Speed Week at Daytona or the ARCA race that'll be coming up in February that these drivers are testing for. Charles, they will bring in the safety crews. They will bring in the wreckers. They will bring in the race directors. They will bring in all of the people that are involved in the feature race when they have it in February to handle the testing at Daytona, fire, rescue, medical, the tow trucks, the rollbacks, all of the officials, the concession stands. Yes, all the concession stands. Yes, my friend, concession stands, and so much more. So, yes, everything that they do like a real race on a real race weekend will be done for testing at Daytona. Let's go back to the lines now. Joining us via audio and video is Landon Pembelton. And Landon Pembelton is joining us back on Finish Line. Landon, first off, bud, it's great to have you back. Last time we had you on the show was October of 2021, I believe it was, or 2020, when you won the Valley Star 300.
Yes, sir.
2021.
Yes, 2021. That was a big show for us. Definitely propelled my career forward, and it's still giving me opportunities being able to race for other teams and being able to practice just from that race in particular.
Hey, Landon, is there any way, buddy, you can take your phone and make it vertical instead of horizontal? Can you turn your phone sideways, see if it'll make it bigger for you on the screen? And there we go. Hold your fire right there.
Is that better?
See? Look at it. Look at that. It's fun and educational here on Finish Line. So where are you at, man? It looks like you're cooped up like a sardine in the car as well.
Well, I'm at work right now sending my truck, so had to join this real quick and get this over with and then get back to work. So,
all right, buddy. Well, we won't hold up much of your time, but I thought maybe you'd been like Kayla and Brayton and everybody else heading down to Daytona. When do you head down to Daytona, buddy?
We fly out tomorrow evening, and then we're going to come back Saturday evening. Looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be an interesting thing being on Daytona. Definitely something I've never experienced before. The ARCA cars I'm used to, and looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, if I remember correctly, after chatting it up with my buddy Eric Winslow, who won the limited late model race at the Race of Champions at Carteret County, don't you work for Sellers Race Cars? Or you drive for Sellers Racing still?
Yes, sir. I still do drive for Sellers Racing. We're looking forward to a full year this year in late model stocks, and hopefully we can pick up a couple wins with Sellers Racing.
And I tell you what's the plans for 2023? Where are we going to see you racing at, man? Is it going to be kind of the same package as last year?
Yeah, it's going to be about the same package as last year. We're going to do a lot of Dominion and a lot of South Boston, alternating week in and week out, and then we're going to do the Triple Crown stuff. Hopefully we can get a couple more wins under our belt this year and see if we can just have some good solid runs.
So, Landon, I got to ask you this question. How has things been for you since you won the Valley Star 300, that big late model race? Obviously, the coverage of it being on Flow Racing, or at the time, I think it was on, Track Pass, NBC Track Pass, winning the being on Motor Racing Network on MRN, calling the race, the prestige, the notoriety behind it. What has it done for you in your racing career for Pembelton Racing?
It definitely has launched me to some opportunities that I never thought would come. For example, this weekend coming up, going to Daytona. Last year, racing for Venturini Motorsports and Toyota Racing for 4 races. Gave me experience in the ARCA car, and hopefully I can use that experience that I had last year and put it to this test and hopefully just see how it responds to the bigger tracks. I only went to 2 1-mile tracks, and going to a whole different thing. It's going to be definitely different. I'm looking forward to it.
Have the butterflies settled in, or are they still there? As the big dogs begin to growl with the ARCA cars around Daytona, and you're going to be one of those cars of 60 entrants on the track. What's the mindset moving into Daytona and running those cars on that big speedway?
The mindset's just going to have fun, just enjoying our time at the racetrack and just being comfortable and getting accustomed to everything. It's definitely going to be something totally different. Never been on a plate track before. Coming from a 1 mile to a plate track is definitely different. But I'm looking forward to it. I haven't really gotten them butterflies yet. I'll probably get them tomorrow on the way there. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you got to have a pretty damn cool view as well, because I flew over Daytona before too, and man, you're going to actually be able to come in and see the track landing on the plane behind the airport, instead of driving into the racetrack. And I mean, obviously there's to each their own. There's 2 different ways of looking at it, but obviously, it's like I told somebody. I was talking with Brayton and Kayla about it. Daytona is just, when you think of the name, you think of NASCAR. They're going on 75 years for the sport in 2023. It's unbelievable. And you think of IndyCar, you think of Indianapolis, you think of Le Mans, you think of Formula One. When you think of NASCAR, Charlotte comes to mind because that's the home, headquarters track of the epicenter of NASCAR. But hands down, it's Daytona. It's Daytona, and there's no way of saying anything different. I mean, I know there's Talladega, I know there's Pocono, I know there's Charlotte, there's Rockingham, there's what used to be or Richmond or Martinsville, but Daytona is the biggest race on the calendar. It is the biggest race on the calendar for the ARCA cars also when y'all race in February.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to 100%. It's going to be something totally different. I'm looking forward to it, I've been going to Daytona. I went to the race last year, the ARCA race last year at Daytona. Had a great time down there with the Venturini crew. Looking forward to being able to drive this year around Daytona. It's going to be a lot of fun, something I never thought I'd be able to do. And being able to say I just drove around Daytona is a big deal.
Charles, what you got for our buddy Landon Pembelton back on finish line after winning Martinsville in 2021 of the Valley Star 300?
You know, I'm all out of questions. I got to think of stuff to ask. So I'm resorting back to what I always ask, and that is I've never been to any of these tracks that you've been to, obviously, because Texas is a long ways off. So my question for you is, out of all the tracks you've been to, what's the best cheeseburger you've had? Which track was it?
Definitely South Boston. South Boston's probably got the best food out of the rest of them.
All right, Wesley, we're going South Boston.
Especially the bologna burger. Especially the bologna burger. Am I right, Landon? Okay, so I'm a fan of bologna burgers, and I'm a lover of the bologna burger at Dillon. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't get what I normally get at Dillon this year because everybody sold out the concession stands. That's all right. It's no good. I totally get it. Not a problem. You got to sell the food. I just couldn't get a bologna burger. My heart was broken. Sophia's heart was broken. I walk in the front door, Landon, from being on the road all weekend, and my little Pomeranian dog Sophia. I tell her all week, I'm gonna get you a bologna burger because she loves them. She loves those bologna burgers, and I get home and she's jumping up and down and she's all excited and where's my damn bologna burger at, dude? So unfortunately, I couldn't get her one, but yes, the South Boston Speedway bologna burger is right up there with it. The bologna is this thick. It's got the onions and the pickles and the mustard on it. The trash can tater tots at Langley Speedway, I think, Landon, are pretty good too. I think you've been to Langley for like Hampton Heat and stuff, haven't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been to Langley a couple times. I've made a couple trips down there, ran a couple weekly shows and the Heat. So looking forward to going back to the Heat this year and the big July 4th race.
I was going to ask you the question as well. I think the last time I saw you and we had a conversation was at Florence at the South Carolina 400. You were at in Timminsville. Yep. Are we going to see you? Are we going to see you at the Icebreaker? That's shaping up to be what sounds like a pretty big late model race. Will we see you there in February?
It's a good chance you could be seeing me at Florence in February. I had a great time for the big South Carolina 400. Fun racetrack. Just looking forward to getting back. Hopefully, we can make it out to the Icebreaker. I'm pretty sure we'll be there.
Did you realize?
Looking forward to getting a good run.
Did you realize, Landon, that Dale Earnhardt Jr. gave you a little punt there in turn one at the race in November? Was there Dale Jr. just spun me out? Or was it just he's just another guy in the race car?
It was just another guy in the race car. It was a long race for sure. I was just laughing about it.
It was.
It was very, very long race, but at the end it was just all fun at that point. There was no wall, so I knew it wasn't going to tear the car up. Just hoping other cars didn't hit me. So it was just I got a good laugh out of it after watching it.
And actually, believe Landon Huffman from Hickory, North Carolina, who actually ran who ran the race at Florence Motor Speedway at the South Carolina 400, is going to be joining us here as we kick off hour number 2. Hard to believe that we're already an hour into this show, enforcing now this 2-hour time limit. But Landon, I'll tell you what, buddy, what is how do you prepare for the ARCA testing at Daytona? Is it different than getting ready for a late model race, or is it kind of the same? Obviously, I talked to Brayton about it because you got like a schedule and itinerary and team meetings and everything. Does that change how you prepare and prep for these events?
Personally, it doesn't change for me. I've been to a couple of these ARCA events. They very well ran series. Looking forward to getting back with the ARCA series again, and they have everything on point, on schedule. Every time you show up to the racetrack, they give you an itinerary, and they're never late. They're always on time. So looking forward to getting back with them and making laps around Daytona with them.
Well, let's be honest. ARCA is owned by NASCAR. Obviously, in the last, I think, less than 8 years now is whenever it happened. 2017 is when it took place, 2016. And if you want to make it up to the next levels, that is the Craftsman trucks, the Xfinity, or the Cup Series, obviously on the Sunday form, you've got to be able to follow the protocol, the ARCA protocol. This is when you're on track. This is when you're not on track. This is when you qualify. This is when you have a driver's meeting, spotters meeting, crew meeting. All of these things that I'm saying to people are like, what? God almighty, I didn't realize I had all these meetings. Whenever you finally go to a NASCAR event and you're a part of the inner circle of what the sport is. I mean, even on the media side, you got production meetings, you've got camera meetings, you've got staff meetings, you've got announcer meetings, you've got, if you're a pit reporter, you got work on pit road, you got to go see the safety crew to find out where you can stand at, where you can be at, where you can't be at. It's just so many people, Landon, don't realize logistically what they watch on TV or what they hear on the radio is a well-oiled machine. Like you said, the way that they follow protocol and the way that they make everything look like it's perfectly in sync and in sequence.
Yeah, being able to move on up, you got to start somewhere. ARCA is always a great start. They groom great drivers. A lot of drivers have moved up. For example, Corey Heim, he's moved up to trucks now, and he's been a very successful driver in the ARCA series, now becoming a successful driver in the truck series. It's a lot of people that move up from the ARCA series, and it's a great starting ground to prove your talent and just make your way on up the ladder.
Yeah, hands down, buddy. Well, listen, we're at the top of the hour. We got to pause for commercial break and bring in our next guest, Landon Huffman. But before I do let you go, Landon, I want you to thank all your sponsors, bud, and give Eric Winslow hell for me. When the next time you go back into the race shop, tell him Wesley said hello. We had him on finish line back in December, bud. But be safe down there at Daytona. I hope to see you at the racetrack somewhere soon, Landon.
Yes, sir. Just got to thank Pembelton Forest Products, Williams Logan, Ream, Easter Design, and just everyone that helps me, my whole family, and my family for supporting me. They've got my back for everywhere I go, and they support everything I do.
Well, there you go. There is Landon Pembelton, the biggest win of his career. I got one more question. Where's the clock at? Where is the grandfather clock at, buddy?
It's still standing in the living room, that same place it's been. Make sure we chime it, or make sure we wind it up every day to keep it on time, and it's a priceless prize that you can get. Like it's just the biggest accomplishment that I will probably ever have, honestly.
When that clock chimes, obviously you got to think of the who, what, where, when, and how, and when, why you won at Martinsville. Yep. It's something just you'll never forget for sure.
Yep. I don't think I'll appreciate it enough until once I get older and realize what I've actually done. I still really can't believe it. Like, it's just an unreal thing.
Well, you definitely have joined yourself amongst the elite of some of the best late model stock car racers in the country, and Martinsville is the Daytona 500 of NASCAR late models. I gotta ask you one more question, and we got to go to break. What's your take of the announcement with the Cars Tour? Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks with Team Trackhouse, and Jeff Burton with what he's done in racing and now as an NBC broadcaster. What's your take of them four men now operating what is the Solid Rock Carriers Cars Tour?
I think it's a very big deal for the series, very big deal for short track racing as a whole. It's ever since Dale Earnhardt Jr. got into the short track scene again last year, he definitely made a progression for the whole community. And hopefully, having these four come in, it's going to keep on, proving that short track racing it's out there, and that's where you got to start at to be able to make it on up. Those guys, they used to race in the short track levels. Now they're coming back to it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, buddy. Definitely, man. Well, Landon Pembelton, thanks for your time. Let you get back to work, and we appreciate it. And for those that are tuning in, watching, listening on Fox Sports Radio in the Carolinas, we got to go pause for network ID. For those that are joining us watching, we will take a quick break. Hour number 2 of Finish Line and Landon Huffman when we return.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today for McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
FreightInsider.com is your one source for freight racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
Welcome back to Finish Line on this Wednesday, January 11th. Today is 1/11/23. I'm your host, Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten in the broadcast studio in Texas. Punching the boards for our broadcast coverage on Fox Sports Radio, Carolina affiliates, the Community Radio Network, iHeartRadio Sports. And for those that are watching on the Rocket Racing Media LSRTV feed on Facebook and YouTube, let's go back to the line. And joining us out of Hickory, North Carolina is Landon Huffman, High Rock Vodka, 2022 Hickory Motor Speedway, birthplace of NASCAR stars, late model champion. Landon, welcome to Finish Line. I think it's the first time we've had you on the program, sir.
First time. I appreciate you having me, Wesley. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's always great to be able to talk with you when we can. I know we've run into each other at the racetracks and whatnot. And hey, before we go any further, High Rock Vodka. A lot of people don't know this, but that is a sponsor that Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Amy have created with their business, and that's on your race car. What does it mean to have their adult beverage company that they've been working hard at as one of the big sponsors for your race team? And I also got to say, Racing America, somebody I work with on broadcasting races.
That's very cool. Me and Dale have kind of met each other through a unique path. My dad and Dale Earnhardt Sr. crossed paths back in the day from time to time, and my dad was intertwined with them through the short track world at one point in the Busch Grand National world, and it's kind of come full circle over the last year or two. I started a YouTube channel, and Dale started watching some of my videos, and I've got to be really good friends with him through that, and it's led to this deal with High Rock Vodka, and I've become great friends with the corporate headquarters and the people at Sugarlands Distillery and in Gatlinburg and the High Rock Vodka team. So it's turned into a great partnership. It's a privilege to be able to represent Dale and Amy's brand, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to grow with them and seeing what we can do moving forward.
Now I'm trying to remember, is it Robert Huffman, your father, or is it Shane Huffman?
Robert Huffman is my dad.
Robert Huffman. Okay, yeah, as I was thinking, Robert Huffman, definitely. So obviously you're building your own legacy, though. What can you say, Landon, that you've been able to do? And it's been quite a ride. I mean, a Hickory Motor Speedway late model championship last year.
Yeah, it's been an interesting path. I feel like I've kind of been everywhere and done that at some point in time. I at one point sold all my late model stuff, thought I was going to be a cup driver just like everybody else does, and realized that it's really hard to go anywhere without any funding. And I tried really hard to put scrap money together to try to do some truck series races here and there, and was very fortunate to have a relationship with Mike Mittler and some people in the truck series that led to some opportunities. Brad Kozlowski kind of helped me along my way, Jeremy Thompson over at BKR, and I got some chances in a truck. Wasn't the greatest funded equipment, but got me some good experience and laps, and it just never really turned into anything. Kind of beat me down a little bit, trying to struggle and find the money. And I was traveling every weekend spotting for race teams in the truck series, Xfinity series, and the ARCA series full time while still trying to find money to race. So it kept me at the racetrack, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. Ended up leading me back to my roots after COVID happened, and kind of started going back to the racetrack with my father and remembering why I loved it so much. And it got me back racing a late model full time, and ended up winning the track championship this past year at Hickory. And, now we're sitting here hoping to do it again in 2023.
I got to say this much, Landon. You've got quite a fan base, because I was on the broadcast crew, or I was the events coordinator for the South Carolina 400, and I had the privilege to do driver introductions and do the pill draw show. As obviously a big massive crowd for Dale Jr. when there was a roaring crescendo for him. But definitely you succeeded a big amount of cheers too, man. A lot of people cheered you on during driver intros and during the pill draw. You got quite a fan following for sure.
I've had fun with it. The last 2 years, last year and a half, I started a YouTube channel, and I've seen a lot of dirt racers have success with it, but I've never really seen anybody on the asphalt world do it. I actually started creating content through a platform called Twitch and iRacing. I know me and you have ran into each other through the iRacing simulation from time to time, many years ago. But which is crazy to me how kind of life comes full circle in many ways.
And I don't even iRace, okay? Let people know this. I've never stepped foot on a track in the virtual world. I just call them.
Yeah, he was broadcasting. There we go. So I started streaming during COVID on Twitch, and that grew. And then when I had an opportunity to go race again, I'm like, man, this is a unique opportunity to try to do the YouTube stuff. So I started recording race day vlogs and putting, GoPros in my race cars when we would go race at our local racetracks here at Hickory. And like I said, got to go to Wilkesboro this past year, Florence, a couple of different racetracks. And it's turned into something that's actually been really lucrative for me. I met Dale through it, got connected with a number of partners, and it's really elevated what I'm doing here with my own race team at Huffman Racing and allowed me to, potentially move forward and grow what I'm doing all through YouTube and social media.
Landon, I would be hard-pressed to not ask you this question, bud. I asked the question to Landon Pembelton. I will ask you. Obviously, you got a great relationship with Dale Earnhardt Jr. with High Rock Vodka as a sponsor on your late model car. What is your take of him, Dale Jr., who I'm referring to, obviously Kevin Harvick, Justin Marks, with Justin Marks and what he's done in the past in his racing career, but I think he's more better as a car owner with Team Trackhouse Racing, what they've done. And then, of course, with Jeff Burton operating the Cars Tour. I've heard people say that this could be the equivalent of bringing back the Hooters Pro Cup Series or something of this magnitude. What's your take? And did you know about this before it finally became officially out there? I heard about it in November. I wasn't expecting it to come out on January the 8th that they were, or January the 9th, that they were going to unveil it. I was hearing it was going to be further down the trough, maybe a year or two. It happened a lot quicker than I thought it was.
Yeah, I was aware that this was a thing, and I think this is a testament to kind of where we're at in the short track industry as a unit. I feel like it very well could turn into the Pro Cup Series, but I think that these guys, obviously pioneers of the industry and very successful in their own right in every form or fashion of business that they've been in, whether it be driving a race car or owning a team or owning a business. So them four together, I think, are going to head up something that could be very, very big for the short track world moving forward. I think that we could see late model stock racing develop into something, maybe not what it was in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, but we could see a correlation between our local tracks and our touring divisions to the point where the Cars Tour might end up being a landing spot for someone where you could generate enough sponsorship to make a living racing there, like the Goodies Dash Series was, or the Hooters Pro Cup Series, the ASA Series. These guys made a living racing short tracks, and that seems very far-fetched in our current industry, but I do feel like it's not really as far away as we may think, just given the fact that we're figuring out how to utilize social media. We're figuring out where the value's at. There's a lot of value in short track racing for businesses, not only sponsoring a race car, but from a social media aspect and the accessibility of our sport right now. I did not realize how successful it would be just showing a behind the scenes of what it takes to go to the racetrack at a local level. People are yearning for that type of content, and the analytics that are behind it are massive compared to what it may cost to race at a national level. So these companies can come in and get a lot more bang for their buck at a local level, especially when you have someone like Dale Jr., Jeff Burton, Justin Marks, or Kevin Harvick heading up a series.
Let's talk about what the main course of having you on for is testing at Daytona. We've got Dina and Willie Mullins coming up next. You're one of the 7 drivers that'll be driving one of those cars. How do you prepare? How do you prepare for Daytona? Are you excited to run Daytona? What's the mindset of the Hickory Motor Speedway late model champion going into this weekend?
I feel like I'm the old one of the group minus Willie. So Willie, I had to say it. I'm a 26-year-old rookie, which is interesting when you think about it. Back in the day, that was normal. That was a normal thing for people to, drive on Daytona for the first time at 26 years old. But my family's had a successful history at Daytona, and I've been there a lot as a kid watching my dad race in both the Goodies Dash Series and the Truck Series. So I'm not really going into the test. I don't think I would be nervous. I'm pretty excited to just make laps on the track. Like I said, I haven't raced a ton in my life compared to some of these other kids coming up, but I have done a variety of different things, and I've been around racing for as long as I can remember. So getting to drive on the big track is cool, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a very good opportunity. Thanks to Dinah and Willie giving me an opportunity to just make laps and get in one of their race cars, much less, be able to interact and be a part of their race team potentially moving forward. So they're great people. I have a lot of respect for how they operate their race team. It's a lot like what I've grown up in. They're blue collar, working really hard to try to get their race cars to the track, on maybe a smaller budget than some of the people they're competing against. So a lot of mutual respect, and I have a great time anytime I'm around either one of them. So I'm looking forward to it.
Listen up, my producer, co-host in Texas, Charles Wooten. You got a question for Landon Huffman?
I gotta think of one here.
Maybe not. I got a question. I'll steal Charles one. High Rock Vodka. What's your favorite vodka drink that Dale Jr. and Amy have made? What's your favorite drink, Landon? We're adults here, okay?
So Dale likes pushing Sundrop and High Rock, but it's a little Southern secret if you can find it. Diet Cherry Lemon Sundrop and High Rock Vodka is probably one of the best mixed drinks I've ever had in my life. It is very hard to find if you can find Diet Cherry Lemon Sundrop, but High Rock Vodka mix is excellent with pretty much anything. But and trust me, we've tried a lot of different things. But that is one of the very good.
Were you the R&D? Were you the R&D tester? Was you the taste tester?
Yeah,
Landon for a lot of the.
We had a championship party here celebrating our 2022 season. It was also a Christmas party, and they sent a pallet full of liquor. And I believe we had pretty much every mixed drink possible available for our guests. So it was a lot of fun. I'm very fortunate to work with them, man. They're great people, and it's a great product. If you haven't tried High Rock Vodka and you're of legal drinking age, venture on out to your local liquor store and see if they have it.
Yeah, Dale Jr., when I went down at Florence, man, he gave me 2 jars of the stuff, man, and loved it. As a matter of fact, there's one jar that I don't even have opened, and there has been there's the peach one that I've kind of took a couple of sips a time or two, okay? So, by the way, I got to remind everybody, please be 21 or older, and please drink responsibly as well, okay? When I drank my peach High Rock Vodka, I drank it at home during the Christmas party or somewhere coming back, never on the road or anything like that. So, Landon, what are we going to see you doing this year, man? Is there an opportunity to run some more ARCA races with Mullins Racing and obviously try to go defend that Hickory Late Model Championship?
I don't have anything concrete on the ARCA side right now. I'd love to work with Dinah and Willie moving forward. Maybe we can put together some funding to do something at one of the short tracks or one of the big tracks for that matter. It's really all up in the air. I think moving forward, we'll have a better idea of it as we get into the season. But as far as me racing regularly on a weekly basis, I'm going to be back at Hickory. Actually, I drove for someone else last year, even though I kept the race car in my shop and we worked on it here. But moving into 2023, I've got my own race cars again. The partnerships I've been able to develop have given me the ability to go do that. So I'm getting to work with my dad and all of my old crew guys again. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be back at Hickory full time, might venture down to Wake County and run a few races, see if we can compete for the North Carolina State Championship. So I'm looking forward to that. They have an interesting rule package. It's more of like a limited late model down there versus what we race at Hickory. So it allows me to have 2 different race cars. I can take a crate motor to Wake and feel pretty comfortable versus an Enforcer at Hickory. So I don't know. I'd like to go back to Wilkesboro, maybe make a few starts on the Cars Tour. So we'll see what happens. All dependent on funding and just as the weeks unfold, we'll see what comes our way.
As the days of our lives, the world turns, as they say. The same in the soap opera world, the same in the racing world as well. I think we're waiting to get Dina and Willie Mullins to join us. I think they're a minute or two late. I think they forgot their roll call because they're actually all in the road in the toters and the trailers. And are you flying down to Daytona like Pembelton is, Landon?
No, me and my wife are heading out early tomorrow morning. We're going to drive down. It's about a 7-hour drive, 7.5-hour drive. So it's not bad. We figured we'd go down there and grab an Airbnb there close to the beach and hang out Thursday night. I think we have a team dinner with the Mullins and everybody that's driving at the test. So do that Thursday night, and
That's
then
cool.
obviously 2 days of testing, and then drive back Saturday.
Yeah, he's one of the 60 drivers that are signed in for ARCA testing at Daytona for this weekend in preparation for the 2023 Lucas Oil 200. That'll be in February. I think it's on Saturday afternoon before the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at the World Center of Racing. Hard to believe it. We're 24 days away until the clash at the Coliseum at the Los Angeles Coliseum again for NASCAR 75th anniversary, and then less than 45 days away or so until the Daytona 500, and then you think 43 days away until the ARCA race. So, Landon, there really is no offseason anymore, man. Obviously, we had a pretty crazy race at Dillon for the New Year's Bash. There was the good, the bad, and the ugly of that. You got, the Icebreaker. Will we see you at the Icebreaker at Florence Motor Speedway? Will you be running the late model for that event?
I probably won't go up there and run the Icebreaker just because it's only 2 weeks ahead of our opening night at Hickory, and I really hate to risk the race car, so I would like to, but it's probably not in the cards. I'll probably end up back at Florence for the 400 at the end of the year. That was a lot of fun, even though we got caught up in a wreck. It was nice to venture out, man. I haven't gotten an opportunity to venture out really much in my racing career, so having the ability to travel and do that a little bit's nice. And I also want to go back to back at Hickory. That's very important to me. My dad did it in 88 and 89, so I would like to kind of see history repeat itself a little bit. I think it'd be a cool story.
Is there any? We're waiting to get Dina and Willie Mullins in the box here because they're up next. I think they're driving on the road, and maybe they've lost press of time or forgot to got let me. I'm actually messaging them right now. But I don't want to hold you up either, Landon. If you've got to go and you got something else going on, Preston, I can let you go. But I was going to ask you, though, is there a moment, is there a memory in the Robert Huffman Goodies Dash era that you remember? Is there something that stands out as a moment? Because I remember for me, probably the coolest thing was being able to announce the Goodies Dash race for NASCAR at Southern National. And that was something I'll never forget. And you got to admit, the Goodies Dash series, and I know Randy Claypool tried to do what he could with his cars to try to keep the era alive, but man, the Goodies Dash series I thought was some of the best damn racing you could see anywhere. I know some people called them four cylinders or pissed off bumblebees, and that's what the engines were, but that was like the affordable package of racing. To me, the Goodies Dash and the All Pro series was the equivalent of what the Cars Tour is today, or something of that magnitude.
I agree. It's such a shame that those type of series went away. I think it's kind of a telltale of where our industry was at the time. We felt like we didn't need those type of series, and we pulled everything away from it. And then we quickly realized that we get away from those things, we're kind of in trouble. So we're sort of gravitating back towards it. But the Dash series was a great bridge, man. It was an excellent series where people could make a living in it if they chose to do so, if they kind of found a home like my dad and so many others did, the Hobgoods, Scott Weaver. There's tons of names that I could spill out right now that were racing regularly every year in the Dash series, and the All Pro series was the same way. But I've said this, I've been asked this question before, and I've said the same thing. I wish I was at my age now, or at least at an older age while my dad was racing, because I would have appreciated it much more. Right now, or when I watched Dad race, I was much younger and it wasn't as important to me at the time. But I can vividly remember Dad winning the 03 championship in Atlanta, and he tried to do a burnout for the first time ever and like blew a head gasket or something and didn't even go anywhere. So that was interesting, but I've got a lot of memories, man.
Man.
it's been interesting to think back on it and watch a bunch of videos, but it's just such a shame that the series went away. And I agree. I think the Dash series kind of died in 03 whenever NASCAR left.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hyped up and excited about. We do got our next guest. Okay, good deal. Well, Landon, thank you for covering a few minutes for them, brother. So before I do let you go, man, I want you to thank your sponsors. High Rock Vodka. If you're 21 or older, I recommend drink it. I know Landon will. I know Dale Jr. will. And have fun at Daytona, buddy, at testing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, High Rock Vodka is an excellent drink if you're of age. So venture on out to your liquor store and give it a shot. But just thank you to my family, my friends, and all my crew guys that have helped me get back to where we were at, maybe 8-10 years ago even. I've got some announcements coming out here in the next week to 2 weeks, which will be really special and kind of give everybody a taste of what my 2023 is going to look like. But thank you to High Rock Vodka, Racing America, and everybody that was a part of my season last year. And I'm looking forward to making some announcements moving into 2023 and going to work, try to chase down a few trophies. Hey, thank you guys for having
me. Listen, whenever you are ready to unveil your stuff or whenever you do, we'd love to get you back in the hot seat here on Finish Line. Maybe you can let our masses of people know as well. We'll follow you along.
Yeah, I'm sure we can make it happen. You just stay in contact with me and we'll make it work.
All right, buddy. Have safe travels down to Daytona. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
High Rock Vodka, number 75 out of Hickory, North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, that is, again, Landon Huffman, the driver, again, Hickory Motor Speedway late model champion, joining us on Finish Line. And now we go somewhere in the hauler on the way to Daytona. Dina and Willie Mullins. And there is Dina. And every time I ever see her at the racetrack, there's Big Willie. Every time I ever see her at the racetrack, she's got the camera and she's taking the pictures. And now car owner or slash co-car owner, Dina. Welcome to Finish Line, the Mullins Racing Team.
Thanks for having us on. We are actually currently sitting right outside of Dominion Raceway. So we're getting ready to head down and stop to get some fuel. So ready to get the 2023 season started.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, Kayla Surles is in the background where we had her on Finish Line as the first guest of the show. She's back again. Hey, Willie, I got to get you on here, man. Thanks for your time pulling over on the side of the road, fueling up Big Willie, of course, on the ARCA Series. How excited are you to give these young drivers, boys and girl, the opportunity to be able to drive one or two of your cars and getting ready to test at Daytona for sure? I know it's not a race, but it's got to be something that you can check off the bucket list and be in the wheelhouse of something you've always wanted to do.
Absolutely. This is an awesome opportunity for everybody involved, even myself. We try to continue to play it forward. We were a little team, and we've always been a little team. So whenever we have the opportunity or the equipment, we can put a couple people in there to move their careers down the road. That's what we're doing. Landon Huffman, Kayla Surles, Brayton Laster. We got a lot of people helping out. Landon Pembelton coming on board. That's huge news for us. We're going to see where that goes. Hopefully we can find some funding for him and get him racing more this year with us. Same thing with all the other drivers. So it's awesome just to do this. And I enjoy the test way more than the race usually because of the buzz of the new drivers we're bringing into our series to try to make the series grow.
And I believe I've got we've got all these other drivers. Is there another driver? Was it Mario Perez? Is that another driver? I think you got tested.
Mario Hart. We got Mario Hart and Brad Perez. They're part of the Mullins Racing Group when we come down there this year. So it's pretty cool to see them. We're bringing a drifter out there with us, so hopefully he keeps it straight and keeps it where we need to on the track.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool with a drifter guy on the racetrack, hands down. So I asked the question of the drivers, and I guess it's better to ask you and Dina point blank. How do y'all prepare the cars? And you're going to bring Kayla in the car. You got Landon Huffman in the car. Okay, now Brayton, you're going in the car. Okay, now you're going to go in the car, Pembelton. Do you try to set the car up to their same body? Is it the same height, width of each driver, personality? Get into the cars and out of the cars? How do you do it?
It's we try to make it as simple as possible. We try to do it with height and size, body type, so that we're not having to do a lot of adjustment. Brayton will probably go out first in the Chevrolet, and then we'll get the other couple guys from there, and then it'll be probably Kayla towards the end of the day, so we can keep them in there, get their laps on Friday. We're hoping we're not playing weather game on Friday morning. So we try to always keep the same body type, things like that. I'll be testing the Ford for the first half of the day of testing. So we'll see once we get that all taken care of and get that car square of where we're going to go with that and who's going to get in that car.
Willie, will you be testing also? Because, you've ran a lot of ARCA races in the past as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to be in the Ford. That is our new Bullet this year, so we're trying to get that all sorted out. We're hoping it's not we're not going to have issues or anything like that, so we'll see what happens and get that thing sorted out and make it I think it will be close to the top of the leaderboard with that car this year.
Dina and Willie Mullins Racing joining us here on Finish Line. We'll grab Dina here in a minute because I got to talk to her about her role of helping you run the race team when she's not taking pictures and doing photography, because anytime I've ever known Dina, that's what she's been doing at the racetrack, and I know she still does that. She's got a knack for that for sure. Willie, what's your take of the ARCA Menard Series? What's your take of the sport? As NASCAR moves into the 75th anniversary of the series, of the Diamond anniversary, NASCAR recently, about less than 10 years ago, purchased ARCA. And a lot of people don't realize, but there was already a great olive branch between NASCAR and ARCA before the business change happened. Where do you see the sport of ARCA? Where do you see it going for the future?
Well, we're hopeful that with these big changes, let's back up before even NASCAR got involved, that ARCA pioneered this Ilmor motor and pioneered these new composite bodies. And that's where it played in our favor, in our hands, to where we can go there and be competitive now with the big teams. We have the horsepower, we got the bodies. We just got to put in the hard work, and that's what we did. And we're hopeful that they continue that program, because you see it's turning on over to Xfinity and their bodies, and truck got the motors, so it's working great. We're just hoping it continues and we can be a little bit of a R&D for that stuff, but we're hoping that we can continue to move forward and be part of ARCA for a long time.
Charles Wooten in Texas, you got a question for the Willie Mullins Racing team, and I say this as I bring you into the fold for the question, Charles. It doesn't matter whether in their toter trailer, whether at the racetrack, whether they're in the racing shop, wherever they are, we'll get them anywhere on Finish Line for sure. These guys are dedicated. They're on the way to Daytona.
Well, I'm actually going to throw a curveball. I'm going to ask a question to you, Wesley, instead of the guest. My question is, why did we not just book all three of these and have an extended three guests in one, like 35, 40-minute session? They're all three in the same car together.
I don't really, because when me and Dina put this together yesterday, or when we talked about it logistically, I didn't realize that there were going to be three drivers or three personalities there all at the same time. That would have worked out perfectly. And honestly, we've got, and Willie, I know you know Rowdy Maglite. We've got him joining us here to give us a really full media ARCA preview for everything. He's a longtime friend. True story, down at Daytona, working I was doing the Xfinity and the truck race. I think it was probably about 5 years ago at the gas station, met Rowdy Maglite, and the next thing you know, we build up a friendship from there. And he's just one of those types of guys, no doubt, for sure. And it's amazing what he does for ARCA.
I love me some Rowdy Maglite. I try to always get on his show as soon as possible, especially when we're getting close for Daytona. So I was on there the other night. It's just, he's a great guy. He's a great ambassador for what we're doing. It is awesome to have the media exposure we do have for the little series we are, but we're continually trying to grow it. We're trying to make sure, hey, we are race car drivers. We want everybody to know what we're doing. So that's why we're out there. And my wife is doing what she can.
Yes, right. Let's bring Dina back in here real quickly. I'll let Dina jump on, and there you go. Dina, what is it like to put down the camera? Is Kayla asleep? Is she sleeping on the job back there?
Yeah. There's no hardship when we travel. When you ask someone you want to travel with the semi, it's a quick yes, because we do have 2 beds in here, so it's definitely the way to travel.
That's it.
So as far as ownership, like this, I got into the media side of racing simply because we couldn't afford to hire people. So I picked up a camera. I taught myself social media. Like, I've taught myself everything to be able to make our team what it is. And, and now I'm using it to help the short track industry. So.
Gotcha. Well, listen, no matter where it is that you guys go, for sure, y'all have done a phenomenal job with your racing team, and I do want to say that props to the media coverage. As you are going out there, and I seen the post you put out there back in November of last year, and I said you're damn right. Dina's get dead on it. If you want to be promoted, if you want to get publicity, you've got to do your part, and that's something that you do for Big Willie Mullins and all of these drivers to let them know where they're going. And because of that, look at the coverage you've had. You're on Finish Line today. You were on Rowdy Maglite show. You were on my friend Jack Dodson's Racing Insider show the other night at Langley Speedway. That's what you got to do to promote yourself, to promote your business, and get people out there about you.
Well, I think that there is some belief that there's still some belief in the racing industry that we slap a sticker on a car and that's enough. And it's not. Like, we're competing against social media influencers. This is the adage that I tell drivers, and I want every driver to hear this. If a company has $60,000 to give you and you slap a sticker in a car, the ROI is almost zero. Unfortunately, the ROI is almost zero. They give that $60,000 to an influencer on social media and they'll sell out a product. So if we don't make ourselves social media influencers along as with race car drivers, because we do have that built-in fan base that we get to tap into, we're doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing our sponsors, our marketing partners a disservice. And really, like, so Willie and I do a lot of TikToks. We've picked up a camper sponsor off there. So we'll get a Class A coach delivered to us at Daytona to stay in. We got $2,000 worth of stuff off of our Amazon wish list. We do TikToks in a way that we want our fan base to feel like they're our friends. I want them when they click on and they might see.
You know what? You know what I think just happened? Guest 6 just came in and just bumped Dina and Willie Mullins, and that's exactly what I think just happened. So it is what's happened. So I'm gonna try to tell. I'm gonna tell them to connect to this link. I'm gonna tell her real quickly. We'll use this link.
I think it's reloading. There you go.
Okay, they're back again. Hey, Dina. So here's the deal. Somehow or another, you connected to. I'm gonna send you a new link, and I need you to use this link instead because the link that I sent you was for Rowdy Maglite, and he just bumped you. He just bumped you off the air.
Well, you know
so you
what?
make sure you get his ass at Daytona,
hey,
right?
We're on the road, so just bring Rowdy on because it's gonna get loud in here. So we appreciate you having us on.
Well, listen, let everybody know in closing how they can follow Mullins Racing all weekend at Testing at Daytona and on social media.
MullinsRacing.net, Mullins Racing on Facebook, Mullins_Racing on Twitter, Dinah M. Mullins on TikTok, Willie Mullins.3 on TikTok, Mullins Racing on Instagram. We're kind of everywhere, so, I mean, TikTok is definitely the place to see the most behind-the-scenes stuff from us, though.
Kayla, why'd you stop dancing? I was grooving with you. Well, there you go. There is Dina and Willie Mullins, Kayla Surles, and they're on the way to Daytona. And now he bumped them because they had the same signal link. It's okay. They said let's get this guy on. I just need you to do me a favor, Rowdy Maglite. Can you make yourself vertical? Can you turn yourself vertical, brother? The world of social media. Let's make you vertical.
I was. All right, let's see
if
we make
him
flip.
vertical? Yeah, let's see if we can flip you. Hang up and call back. And so this is what we'll do. Rowdy, hang up, call back because you're going to close out the show with us. Whenever you reset everything, make yourself vertical like this when you come back on the air. Maybe it'll make you the big screen, okay? And with that being said, everybody, we'll take a final commercial break. We got to do that anyway, and we will talk ARCA. We'll talk Daytona. We'll talk more with Rowdy Maglite, who's trying to go vertical instead of horizontal, with Charles and I as we close out Finish Line next.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM. McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This is Finish Line.
Thanks for watching Finish Line. Again, it's Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten in our production chair, Fox Sports Radio Carolina. Of course, CRN Sports Network, iHeartRadio Sports. We're also on Facebook and YouTube for video. And let's bring back in Rowdy Maglite. I think he's got everything working good now. Oh, well, I don't think it's working. Oh, okay.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, my goodness. Just do it that way. That's fine. Just keep it that way, my friend. It's all right.
It wouldn't flip, guys. I don't know what it's technical. It's way out of my league sometimes.
It's all good, my friend. It's not a problem. I do appreciate you though, taking the time, Rowdy, to join us here on Finish Line and taking the time out of your busy schedule. When you headed down to Daytona for ARCA testing, bud?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get to make it. This depends on how shaky the weather is, guys. Now, I'm really getting ready for the running of the 71st ARCA Menard Series. And how incredible, 75 years anniversary for NASCAR and
That's
71 races for ARCA Menard Series at Daytona. They've been the little sister to the big guys for a long time.
And I just hinted on that not even a few moments ago, Rowdy. Get out of my head. I literally just said that that NASCAR is celebrating the diamond anniversary, and for probably, the last 7 years now, NASCAR bought out ARCA. But ARCA and NASCAR are like peanut butter and jelly. They've always been with each other. They've always tried to work with each other. It is amazing what the Automobile Racing Club of America has been able to do. What is your take, Rowdy, of ARCA? I asked the driver, Willie Mullins, as you guys on the media side with what you do with the Rowdy Maglite radio show, where do you see ARCA going in 75 years, in the next 4 or 5 years to come for them?
Well, I tell you, first thing, just for NASCAR to go back to dirt, that gives a lot of guys credibility that's raced on dirt in the ARCA Menard Series, because they raced 2 races at Elko and Springfield. Right. And if you've never been to those races, those are absolutely, just to put the ambiance of the State Fair and ARCA together to race, it reminds me of the old BIR back in the day in Birmingham. Just the history. I describe ARCA as one big family. They'll loan you the shirt off your back, but when they wave that green flag, it's a fight to the end. And when it's over, you take all the stuff that you borrowed or they borrowed from you back, and you're back on that level of, hey, what's it going to take to get you to the next race?
That's right. That's right. And I think that's the mindset of every race car driver. Am I right, Rowdy? We're literally, you are your best friends till you get behind the wheel of that car. It's like what Neil Bonnet told Dale Earnhardt Sr. We're not out here to, what the hell do you care for? We're not out here to make friends. You're racing, I'm racing, and I'm going to bump and move you out of the way, but then we'll sit back and have a beer after the race is over with. So for sure. 60 cars testing that Daytona for this weekend. Obviously, hopefully the weather cooperates like you were saying, Rowdy, but is that a pretty good field of cars for testing for just practice? It's just practice.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that 60 cars back testing, I think we're going to have a pretty large field at Daytona. Last year the car counts were getting bigger. I tell you what's got impressive, guys. 2020 was a tough year in automobile racing, or the whole world. but it seems that we've got our crowds back now. You know, you see people excitement. Snowball Derby, absolutely full.
Yes.
Hey, I go to the Ice Bowl all 3 days. Both sides were absolutely packed, and they stayed till the last. So
That's awesome.
You know, some promoters say it's cut back some, but you know, a Humpy Wheeler never let up. You got the promoter got to promote 24/7.
That's right. You're exactly right. No doubt about it. Keep the concession stands full, have clean toilet seats, and have plenty of toilet paper. That's what Humpy Wheeler always said about being one of the great promoters of the sport, for sure. Rowdy, by the way, you mentioned the Ice Bowl. Congratulations to Ray Cook, the Tar Heel Tiger, back in victory lane. He won the super late model portion of the Ice Bowl, and congratulations to all the winners. Matter of fact, we had Adam Stewart from Crate Racing USA and Talladega Short Track on finish line last Wednesday to promote the Ice Bowl, for sure. So Rowdy, obviously, man, how's the radio show doing these days? You know, me and you ran into each other. What was it, 2014?
Man.
Me and you met each other at a gas station at Daytona, and the rest is history.
We were just two passing ships in the night. I tell you, I was leaving from, I think, the ARCA Menard Series race, and you was headed down to cover the 500. And we get to see each other sporadically at the tracks. But you know, this year I'll start with a Rolex 24, going down to cover it. And you know, you're talking about all the prestige. When you go down and you talk to that group of people, which is completely different from NASCAR fans, and you say, "Well, are you? What about the 500?" And they go, "Oh, yeah, I'll be at Indianapolis 500. So when you talk to those folks, you got to definitely tell them with what direction you're going, because they're going to go straight to Indy.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
a lot of Formula One IndyCar open wheel drivers from the Rolex 24, no doubt. And I will say this, Rowdy Maglite, I've got to put the Rolex 24 on my itinerary bucket list one day. I've never been there to that one, but I watch it on television. I always find it fun. I think it's awesome when they race into the night and they shoot the fireworks off at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and the cars are going through the carousel and the Ferris wheel and all of the stuff that's going on the road course. And hands down, I think the sunset, whenever it's a beautiful day, morning, at the beach, and you see the sunset with the sun rising, the cameras do justice, but it does no justice, I guess, Rowdy, from being there live, for sure.
And you know, you sit and watch it until you can't stand it no more. You cat nap and wake up at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and you hear those big caddies coming around. They just thunder. But to see all the lights on the cars to tell what divisions are racing, it's really a spectacular event. It's one of those things. I went to the Snowball Derby, and I never want to miss another one. Once you go, Wesley, you'll never want to miss another one. And how you arrange that into your calendar, it's tough. But
you better just put it in your calendar.
Well, last year I left my house the 23rd of January, and I rode back in the yard March the 3rd. So, with that being said, I'm hoping to cover Volusia, East Bay. Hopefully, I'll get to go back to East Bay this year. What a show East Bay put on. I was there last year. 73 super late models showed up to race. Then I covered New Smyrna, which I'll be back because ARCA Menards East starts their series there. Great place to watch it. And the modifieds, man, those modifieds just beat the pavement up down at New Smyrna.
Well,
then the Daytona 500 after that. And
that's right. That's right. And I will say this, Rowdy. Did we just lose him? Rowdy, are you there, buddy? Rowdy Maglite. He'll be trying to reconnect with us here in just a second. I bet you somebody tried to call him. Tell him we're on the air. Tell him to leave us alone. We're working here. So, I will though say though, Charles, man, you can hear the excitement in that veteran guy's voice right there. I don't want to say the word old man because I think that's disrespectful, but I know he's definitely a lot older than I am up in age. But hands down, man, you can hear the excitement he has just talking about the sport of racing. And honestly, I wish we had everybody in this generation that would be into something like that because that's what we need, hands down. I was just going to say, welcome back, Rowdy. I had a feeling somebody was trying to call you or something. Put do not disturb on your phone. But I was going to say that listen, I know how it is. I've had five missed calls and probably about 4 text messages since we've been on the air for 2 hours. So I get the whole deal. But I will say this though, Rowdy. I think it's awesome, buddy, that you still got that fire and that passion for racing. That's what I was saying when we lost you and we got you back here now. But I love the passion you've got for the sport, hands down. And it's
Well,
not just
once you get
ARCA.
no,
And it's
no,
not just
actually,
ARCA. It's dirt late models. It's everything.
we're fortunate enough to be able to cover. I got Kyle Magna helps me on the show, and Kyle's kind of covering the PA posse up in Pennsylvania, and that helps us tremendously. Him covering that part of the sport up there because hey,
That's
Kyle
sprint
Larson
cars,
went up
right?
there. That absolutely. So my plan was last year to go to PA, spend 2 weeks at Kyle's, and we were going to go all around to. Well, year and 2 years ago, I went to Mahoney Valley and Lincoln Speedway, and man, listen, you talk about some passionate fans at Mahoney and over there at Lincoln. People in PA take that dirt. It's serious. It's serious. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think what we've got maybe on the books as far as NASCAR 14 events this year.
That's
And
amazing.
then stack all the short tracks in there.
And I was going to say that, Rowdy Maglite. I love the fact that you've expanded because when Rowdy Maglite radio show first started, it was just ARCA. Now you're doing like all sorts of things. You're in the short track world, the dirt world. Hey, by the way, the World of Outlaw Case Equipment Late Model Series, they fire up next weekend with the Sunshine Nationals at Volusia at Barberville, Florida. There it really is no off season anymore.
No, I was watching. You talked about it earlier. There's really no. The only off season there is Christmas, basically Christmas.
And somebody's going to be stupid enough to eventually create a Christmas race.
And they'll pack the house. I mean, they'll put the money. You know, Wesley, would you have imagined 4 years ago the money that some of these short tracks are paying now?
That's true. You're exactly right. Yeah. And I will say this, I think it's awesome that some of these short tracks are paying the money that they are for the classes that they are, but I also think it's also time that some of these races that are still doing events that pay the same thing, it's time for them to step up and start paying some more money. So that brings my next question for you, Rowdy. What's your take of the big announcement of Dale Jr. and Kevin Harvick and Justin Marks of Trackhouse and Jeff Burton buying the Cars Tour? Taking over the Cars Tour, the good, the bad, the ugly. I find, and I will tell you this, there's another podcast show on Rocket Racing Media, LSR Productions, that will be on Sunday, either Sunday afternoon or Sunday night. That is the Press Box Motorsports podcast. Charles Wooten, as a matter of fact, my producer, heads up that show, and he's going to talk about the Cars Tour. But I got to ask you, Rowdy, what's your take of this, man? Because do you see good for it? Do you see that it's going to be interesting to see how it goes? What's your take on things, bud?
Well, you put all 4 of those guys' names and behind all that, and you see success. I mean, hey, it was good to get Wilkesboro back. You cut the heart out of what NASCAR was all about, and just to see that track. Hey, without Dale Jr., I mean, I like Dale Jr. in the car, but he has done a lot for this sport in that booth.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
hands down. And I'm go ahead. Go ahead.
There, the facility there, hey, it's not the best, but a lot of NASCAR fans don't live in big fancy mansions. I was Wesley able to take my wife before she passed to Speed Weeks with me in 2015. And Brian France built that Motorsports complex. That was the whole title. The force that when you went there, it looked like a sports stadium. So we're staying on the beach, and as we come over the bridge that kind of overlooked the stadium, and it was all lit up, and my wife looked at me and says, "What football stadium is that?" And I said, "Hey, listen, that's exactly what Brian France wanted to hear, stadium." But it is absolutely amazing what they've done with that track. And I've been at the Rolex. We always go as far up level as you can get without, I think we're like 30 rows from the very top. And you can actually see the ocean. I mean, there is nothing at that track that you can't see when you're up there. Hey, and Wesley, you know what the best thing is? You get there on an elevator, and Charles might appreciate that as well as I did.
That's exactly right. Up the elevator or the escalator, might add. You can go on the escalator if you want to. That's pretty fun too. Hands down, we're chatting it up with Rowdy Maglite, our final guest here on the January 11th edition of Finish Line. Next week, we've already got our guests lined up. Winner of the New Year's Bash Street Stock Nationals, Tom O'Sullivan. Winner of the Chili Bowl will be joining us next week. Also, we got the winner of the Ice Bowl, Bray Cook, and previewing the World of Outlaws at Volusia and more coming up on Finish Line. Rowdy Maglite Radio Show. Rowdy, when are you on the air? Isn't it Monday? Is it Monday night when you're doing your show, buddy?
Well, we did it for 8 years at Monday night, and we moved to Monday mornings, and we're on Thursday night at 6 Central.
Okay.
And we're on 9 Central on Monday mornings. So
you're a morning show. You're a morning show and a nighttime show now, basically.
Absolutely. We kind of split that up because, most of the guys are in transit trying to get home from Monday night and tired, wore out from a weekend of racing. So we try to catch them with a little adrenaline left in them.
And Rowdy, there's been times that literally I've seen you at the racetracks at ARCA events or wherever else, and you're doing the damn radio show inside your car. The equipment that we have today for the technology is amazing, isn't it?
It is. You can do it on an iPhone now. I mean, it's how crazy is that? A set of headphones and an iPhone, and you're in business. Well, you got to have a little bit of internet connection.
That's exactly right. Just find the place to find the right signal for sure. Charles, you got a question for Rowdy Maglite? Of course, I think he's in your time zone on Central when he's not on the road.
So I'm going to go this. I should have been asking this to all the guests, but, it only took Wesley 6 years. I repeat that, 6 years to finally get a decent looking logo around here. So what do you think of that new logo sitting above you?
I tell you, the intro, the logo, everything looks great. The flag behind you. Of course, you see, I'm in green here. I guess I got the green flag, but yeah, everything sounds great, guys. Y'all got a good show.
Rowdy, it's just a green screen. I tell everybody, it's just a green screen.
I'm like, I need to run and grab my checkered flag, but I'm like, no, I'll let Wesley handle that.
This is what it looks like.
There you go. That's what it looks like. You ever watch the weather forecast? That's what they're looking at. Looking at a green screen. The chroma key is what they call it for sure. Hands down.
So
no,
Wesley,
we're just cutting up here.
I think the big story for 2023 is Fox coming on board for the whole season, man.
Yes. Obviously I'm kind of on the fence because I do stuff with MAV TV with, Racing America and all the stuff I've done with them. And obviously they've had a great run, MAV TV has, but MAV TV they're changing their platform package. They're doing into more produced shows that are already put together, and that's what they're broadcasting. I think there might be a couple of live races with Lucas Oil, late model dirt series, but that's it. It's all going to be, formatted product. And I don't know if I agree with that, Rowdy, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, Fox Sports is going to be broadcasting every ARCA race. And I got to think, Rowdy, isn't there a conversation about possibly getting a national TV race? Possibly. I know FS1 is going to headline a majority of them, but I was told possibly that maybe Fox, the network Fox, might air an ARCA race possibly.
Boy, that would be great. And hopefully there'll be a snowstorm up the East Coast.
Yes, for sure. Listen, in my opinion, if there's any race that there's two races that I think three races that come to mind when I think of ARCA, if it could be on national TV: Daytona, Talladega, and obviously Pocono. I always thought Pocono was very interesting whenever they do their races there. So a close second would be the dirt races at DeCoin or at Springfield, for sure. But I think those are the events that, like you said, that's you bringing in NASCAR on dirt at Bristol and then doing the dirt with ARCA. It's entertaining. It's definitely entertaining to watch, Rowdy.
Well, ARCA goes to some really unique. I know Elko's a long track to Minnesota, but let me tell you guys, they fill the house in Elko. They put on a great show. Before that, the week before that, they're at Berlin. I've been to Berlin Speedway. Great track, man. I'm telling you. Then they hit the dirt tracks, and then we've got two road courses, Mid-Ohio, and we've got Watkins Glen. And then, I mean, the Milwaukee Mile. Do I need to say any more about the Milwaukee Mile, except I need to be there?
That's exactly right, for sure. Well, listen, Rowdy, you know how it is in radio land, buddy. We're at the top of the hour. Our time has grown short, man. But real quickly, let everybody know how they can follow you and on social media, and we'll get you back on here a time or two throughout the season, man. It's just awesome for what you do for the sport, what you do for ARCA, what you do for short track racing in general, and it's always great to catch up with you, my friend. Be safe out there wherever you travel.
Absolutely. My 10th year. This is rolling on our 10th year. You can catch us on Blog Talk Radio every Monday morning. And I said every Monday morning at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and Thursday night, 7 Eastern and 6 Central. I'm on the Facebook dial, but my biggest videos are on TikTok, guys. Yes, I'm on TikTok, but that's where the people come and hit that like and the viewership. So, hey, just stop by, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube page. That's another, I try to hit all the social networks. You got to.
Rowdy,
People look at me.
Rowdy, I mean this in no disrespect. You are a legend of the chisel world that has somehow got famous on social media.
Well, it started as a joke, guys. And honestly, how I got started in this was Earl Bonner, who was the tech at ARCA. And he started opening the gate for me, and I started going, meeting, and making contacts, and nobody was covering the ARCA Menard Series. And I seen a way to go. And with that being said, each year from, pretty much Chase Briscoe, now Chase is in Cup. We've got several, so why not keep following up and grab these guys in Xfinity and trucks? So that's what we've been doing.
That's right. And in closing, now you got that full-time contract with Fox, like we mentioned, and Motor Racing Network. MRN broadcasts the majority of the ARCA races now. So yeah, they're getting a lot of radio and TV time now, no doubt about it.
All right, Wesley, man, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And hey, let's just keep that light shining. And hey, take a friend to a race. Take a friend to the track this week.
Definitely, for sure, man. Thank you so much. Rowdy Maglite, appreciate all that you do, buddy. Be safe out there.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
There you go. There you go. There's Rowdy Maglite. Of course, his radio show, the Rowdy Maglite ARCA radio show, now on Monday mornings and Thursday nights, again, on Blog Talk Radio. Did he say Blog Talk Radio? Is that it? Charles, can we bring you in real quickly before we go off the air? I want to see you one more time, my friend. One more time. Thanks for watching. There you are. Yes. There. Well, everybody, that's the guy. That's the guy that's in my ear. Okay. This is what he looks like. Yes. You're jamming in there. What do you got? Yeah. We got the strobe lights playing.
Strobe lights, baby. Oh, I'm just kidding. Let's go with some blue. We're tired of red. I don't think they're all blue.
I like that, man. Hey, but Charles, I did plug the Press Box Motorsports podcast show. I know that's one of the things that you're going to talk about is about the Cars Tour, man. But can you give me a little insight of what you think before we do get off the air? We got about a minute or two left here.
So my insight is, if you want,
you can cue up the exit music while you're at it too, if you want to. You can go ahead and cue up the exit music.
So my insight to the Cars Tour is you're going to have to watch on Sunday afternoon to get my insight.
Okay. Well, hey, that's fun. Hey, tune in. I might pop in there as a guest and give my insight on it too, because I got a lot. You know what? If he wants me to be a guest on Sunday, I will put it in my schedule and make sure that I can be on to give my side of it, because I see the good, the bad, and the ugly of this. Okay?
All right, there
I'll
you go.
give
You're
my
a guest.
intel. If Charles will have me on as a guest, I will do it, okay? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up on Finish Line. Charles, it's always great doing the show with you, buddy. I know we're trying to keep it in a 2-hour format now for everybody in the radio and in the TV world, and I appreciate what you do manning the ship for sure, because I can handle it radio-wise by myself, but doing all the video and the setup and the production, that's all in your world, man. That's your wheelhouse, and I would be a lost puppy if it wasn't without you, my friend.
Well, if the production is my wheelhouse, then let's don't go watch yesterday's broadcast because it was a little wonky.
Hey, listen, in your defense, it was the first race of the year, okay?
Yeah,
you haven't done anyone in a while, so that's fine. Big shout out to the Mullins Racing team. I want to say thank you to Dina and Willie Mullins Racing for having us have Kayla Surles, Brayton Laster, Landon Pembelton, Landon Huffman, and, of course, Willie Mullins on the program. Safe travels to them, Daytona, as well as all the other 55-plus drivers heading down to Daytona. 60 cars testing at Daytona for ARCA testing this Friday and Saturday. And thanks to Rowdy Maglite, the Rowdy Maglite radio show. For everybody at Fox Sports Radio Carolina, CRN, the Community Radio Network, iHeartRadio Sports, for Charles Wooten, for Jeff Stabnow, for everybody behind the scenes, coming soon, Catman, James Vining helping out also, I believe, working on production and learning how to run this show, because he's a big fan of the show as well. And thanks to all of you, the race fans out there. I love you all, and the reason why I love you all is even if I don't know you from Adam and Eve, I love you because you are a fan of racing just as much as I have, and the passion that I have for the sport as well. Be good to one another. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will do Finish Line next Wednesday. God bless you all. Take care.
Welcome to the Community Radio Network. Follow us always via social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CRN Sports. Plus, listen to the new CRN 87.9 and still anywhere worldwide at wearecrn.com. We are CRN.
Let me tell you about MPM, McAllister Precision Marketing. They can assist up-and-coming racers with career advancement, promotion, and assist in sponsorship procurement. MPM also has media and professional etiquette training. They work with premier driver development teams and limited late models to late models. And they also help the teams to make it up to the levels of K&N, ARCA, Truck Series, and even NASCAR Xfinity. Contact Tanya McAllister today at McAllister Precision Marketing, 803-361-6199. Today, get on the board with MPM.
CrateInsider.com is your one source for crate racing tech and more. Whether you currently race with a crate engine or you are thinking about getting into the sport, our website has what you need. CrateInsider.com has tech videos, interviews with experts, and the best products in the industry. Dyno tested and proven, so we know they are the best products for crate engines. Visit CrateInsider.com today to get on the fast track to victory lane.
This episode is an exclusive production solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, transmission of the accounts without the express written consent or permission is restricted and prohibited. To hear this replay or other previous podcasts, download on iHeartRadio, iTunes Radio, and TuneIn. As always, this show is for you. Thank you for listening.